Hey guys, we are live. So for those of us who are familiar with our format, we're going to take 5 minutes just to BS and get the videos shared, get everybody here. So just hang tight. We'll be here. I'm going to start that process myself, and we'll get the actual official discussion going in a little bit. So, Michael, let me find the video so that I can tag you.
Okay.
And
yes. Which account did I use? Yeah, okay.
We got people watching it. I don't have that screen open, so.
All right. Let's see.
Michael, you have been tagged, so you can go ahead and share it. Oh, yeah, we got people. We got 18 people. Stephanie's here. Nia's here. I just tagged you, Michael. Let me go to the other page, and I'm going to tag. Let's see here. I'm not sure how to do it on this page. I'm still learning all this.
It's all right.
Oh, I almost did the thing. So.
Well, the thing.
Yeah, with the echoes. I almost was the cause of the echoes this time. So I just tagged Soul Asylum as well, so hopefully they'll share it soon. And Janine's over there still getting set up. I'm not sure how to do it on this. Uh-oh. Still learning all that. Uh-oh. Let me mute Michael real quick while it does that. So, hey guys, if you're here, please like and share the video, and we'll get started in a little bit. Dave's getting set up. Michael's sharing the videos. Well, so hopefully they'll. He still got it. So yeah, the most helpful thing that everybody can do for us is to like and share the video while it's live. Oh, I see Dave. Let's unmute Dave, and let's unmute Michael. So, oh.
So crackly. So hopefully that.
So.
I get a delay. It's kind of cool.
Let's see where we're at.
Okay.
Holy shit!
Tacos. What you like, soft or hard?
Hard. Oh, there's tacos in.
Yeah, I'm just ordering for them for a little later.
Okay.
It's all breaking up. Am I supposed to be able to hear it?
Yeah, you should be able to hear us.
You can't hear?
Yeah, it's breaking up. It's very
You still sharing, Michael?
I finished already. Or check my work and see that I did.
Yeah.
That's tolerable.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think you still have it. I still think you have to do your main account, Michael. I only see the backup account. So,
okay. What?
I'll go back to my other account.
Yeah, I know, Sarah. We'll be able to see Dave once everything gets started. We're doing the setup here, and we're doing so everybody can share the live videos. So for people who are watching already, we haven't started the discussion yet. Dave's just swatting at the delay in case that helps.
Try not to think about it.
Yeah, I can count 1, 2. There it is.
So, yeah,
I'm missing every fifth word, third word.
We're still getting set up. If everybody wants to like and share the video while we get here, and we'll get started in a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you great, Dave.
You can hear me, Michael?
I can.
Can Michael hear me? Michael, can you hear me?
Can you not hear me when I'm talking, Dave?
You can?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Looks fucking awesome. I love that beard, dude, but I can't, I'm getting every third word. So, I mean, I'll just be saying what the whole time, basically, if this is the deal. Because Janine's like, just deal with it. And I literally cannot understand what you guys are saying.
What else do you want me to do?
Huh?
I don't know what else you want me to do.
All right. Well, we're at the end of our rope, but I don't think I can understand what you guys are saying. I mean, I could try, but it's kind of not working. It's not working as it is right now.
How strong is your Wi-Fi signal?
Pop deep. That's what I'm hearing. Pop deep. How strong is your Wi-Fi? I don't know. What does that mean?
We've been using it to live stream for.
Oh yeah, that's right. We've been doing all those live streams for the last however many weeks.
We can try on my laptop and see if it's any better.
All right, we'll try to switch to Janine's laptop and see if that's better.
Okay. Okay.
God, that beard is tight.
Oh, thank you, Dave.
There it goes.
Thank you.
So we'll see if Janine's gonna put him on the laptop.
I guess I just presumed she was going to use her own gear.
Yeah, I think she wanted to see if she could use Dave's gear. Well,
So she
I mean,
can get out of
he's
there.
still there. Should I bring him? Should I bring him back? Because he's still looking at the thing. I don't want to take him out if he.
Let's just chronicle all of this. Just let it happen.
Okay.
Let it happen, bro.
Hey, I'm all. Did you ever share it from your main account?
I was checking, but then I got sidetracked.
I gotcha.
Let me see.
I'm gonna share the MUSiPOLiTiX account.
What I see is that it's live and there's 11 people.
There's actually 50 people now.
Well, what I'm saying is that if I didn't share the live, then what is it that I shared?
You shared it, but you shared it from your smaller account.
I'm looking at my main account right now. It's been up for 6 minutes.
Okay, let me go look and see. I didn't get a notification, and I looked for the notification, but I've been wrong before.
No, and me too. That's why I'm not.
Oh no, it's there. It's showing up. It just didn't show up in the thing.
I'm not getting keyed up, but I'm just letting you know. I thought.
Okay.
So.
No, I wonder if let's here, let's share it here. Let's see once we get Dave back, and we'll get started. So if people, let's see. Well, let me go back to this screen. Oh, we got plenty of people in the comments. We got Jeremy's here, Maya's here, Dane's here, and Dane made sure that we know that we came through Michael's link. So I was wrong, and I'll admit I was wrong. So yeah, we got plenty of people here already, and we just we have to work through the kinks every week. It's technology does not make it easy for us. Or we don't make it easy for technology. So I think I was looking to see if Soul Asylum shared. They're probably waiting on us to get our act together before they share it. Oh, we got, okay, let's add Janine back. Is that better?
It sounds better, yes.
Yeah, it's much better. Okay. Hey, Janine. So, does everybody who's watching know Janine, Dave's manager? She is wonderful.
Oh, Jamie.
Dave, you're fine.
You want no lettuce, no cheese on yours?
Thank you, Dan. That's very sweet of you.
You're welcome.
And then I was like, who's that?
Hi, Michael. Good to see you.
Hi, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm being rude. I'm looking on this menu and I'm looking at y'all. How are you, Janine?
I'm good.
Good. So you can hear me. That means Dave probably can hear me also. I'm not.
Yeah. He ran off, so just
Okay.
waiting for him to come back.
That's not a problem. We know how it is. I know how it is. So
Somebody in the comments asked if we could share it on the event page. It's already shared on the MUSiPOLiTiX page. I don't know how to share it on the actual event. So let's go ahead and make it happen. Here, let's take all that down. Nia said, Janine, what are your thoughts about universal health care?
I would like to have some.
Oh, hey, this is much better.
All right.
All right.
So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome this week. If you haven't already, the most helpful thing you can do for us, like the live video and share it. So welcome to MUSiPOLiTiX episode 8. So excited to be here. I'm going to introduce my co-host.
Much better. What'd you do?
And then my co-host is going to introduce our guest. My co-host has been written up by almost every major drum publication as the best drummer on the planet. And I happen to know him. I happen to know him as. Oh, Dave started that?
Dave said it to a writer for the Star Tribune, and it was the headline of the article they were doing on me. He just said, well, he's the best drummer on the planet. And the dude went with that. And the next week at Bunkers, just a bunch of dudes on the dance floor looking, okay, well, we came to see the best drummer in the world.
Yeah. What you got, best drummer on the planet? Well, I was going
Thanks, Dave.
No problem, man. I'm sure they learned a few lessons. I'll stand behind it, man. I'll stand behind it. I have experience. I've auditioned 300 drummers.
No, yeah, you do. You've had your fill of interactions with other drummers, and it took you a while. Took you all the way to Sterling to get one that you really liked.
That's right. And between all those drummers, I had to audition. L.A., New York, L.A., Minnesota. To be honest, I moved to New Orleans because I thought there would be great drummers there. I mean, that was at least part of why I loved the city of New Orleans, is because the rhythms are so intense. I was like, I'm going to find. And Kerry Brown was the first guy I played with.
Yeah, well, yes, and while I like a lot of drummers from New Orleans, I know what kind of giddy up you need to be in Soul Asylum. It's it takes more than just being tasteful and knowing when to when knowing how to play tasteful and whatnot. You got to have power and precision, and you got to be precise. Consistent.
Yes,
consistency is important.
Consistency over precision.
Yes, and not only that,
because then you would sound like the dude in Living Color if you have too much precision.
All right, I like Will Calhoun. You can say what you want.
I do too, man. There's a lot of precision.
Well, all right. Well, at least we both dig him. He's precise. I think he's incredible. But every drummer ain't the right drummer for this band.
It helps that we both grew up listening to KQ, I think.
Yes, right. I did an English. I did an interview with an English drum magazine, and I was like, "Hey, listen, man." He's like, "Well, I just never thought of you as a rock and roll drummer. I'm so impressed with how you sounded soul." So I'm like, "What do you think I came up on?" All we had was album rock. So I learned from listening to Phil Rudd, a bunch of English drummers. Simon Kirk from Bad Company, great pocket, incredible drummer.
KQRS, in case people don't know, is the classic rock station in Minneapolis that was classic rock before really they had the term classic rock. Right. But it was like kind of one of three choices of what was on the radio. So
I'm sorry, Dan, did you really want me to go back and say, and to my left?
You don't have to introduce me, but you should at least introduce our guest to people that might not know him, because we might have some regular viewers that might not realize that we have yet another legend.
The gentleman here next to me, his name is Dave Pirner. He's a great American songwriter. He's the leader of Soul Asylum, which is the most successful rock band in the history of this state, Minnesota. And our new album, Hurry Up and Wait, just charted higher than any other record we've had out since Let Your Dim Light Shine. It was actually, I wasn't expecting so much success, but I'm certainly glad to have it. When I found out it charted it landed in a significant place. People are interested in turning back on to Soul Asylum.
Maybe
I don't know why, and I don't have to know why, but we've been toiling away at it, and we're getting closer to our goal, which is to represent real music. Because Dan, especially being a guitar player, you probably know like somebody's got to keep it going. I think you know, you can't listen to the Foo Fighters all day. You know, and also I mean I think that Dave Grohl would also admit Pern's a better songwriter. So
now let's talk about Dan. How do you guys know each other? I mean, why haven't I seen Dan? Are you a local guy?
I live in Wisconsin. We met.
Okay.
I came and hung out with you guys when Soul Asylum did a show in Chicago. I actually came because I wanted to bring the drummer from my church to meet Michael. And so me and him were there.
That sounds familiar, actually. I think I remember that. Yeah. Okay.
And
which part of Wisconsin? You know, that's my mom and dad are from Wisconsin.
I didn't know that. I knew Jeremy has roots here, but I didn't know that about you. I grew up and currently live in Madison, and then I'm actually a music director at a church in Milwaukee. So I have all of southern Wisconsin covered.
My dad's mom. Wait a minute. How does this go? My dad's from Milwaukee. My mom's from Green Bay, and they met at Madison.
Oh wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did they go to school at UW?
Is that Madison?
Yeah.
We always call it Madison. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
is that Madison?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And yeah, I've been friends with Michael for a very long time, but had the opportunity to become, you know, good friends with him and work with him in recent years. And him and I are just, you know, we're like-minded individuals and wanted to, you know, do something like this. And I'm just, you know, I'm privileged to work with him, as we all are.
You got that right.
So I can tell the whole full story of how I came to meet Michael. Although that might be one better for a couple episodes in the future.
No, but Dave might not be watching, so go ahead and tell Dave. Just give him the completed story.
I just
know, like, he doesn't know everybody I know, and for us, and he also knows that I don't team up with people to do almost anything.
That's
so
true.
The head scratcher for Pern. He wants to know. Tell him.
So I had just gotten off a gospel tour that I was doing. And on that gospel tour, I'd crossed paths with a drummer named Brandon Commodore, who, for the people watching, currently I think plays with Mint Condition. And isn't he the new NPG drummer, Michael?
I don't know.
I ran into his mom at the Dakota or something. Yeah. What's her name?
Her name is Ginger Commodore.
Commodore. What an awesome name.
That is a great stage name.
Crazy cool name.
And I had been on tour, and then when the tour ended, I was living in the East Coast before the tour. When the tour ended, I had nothing to go back to on the East Coast, so I came back to Wisconsin, and Brandon hit me up on MySpace. This was back in the days of MySpace. And he said, "How far are you from Minneapolis?" And I said, "I'm only like 3 hours from Minneapolis, and I have family there." He said, "I'm doing this musicians clinic, and I want you to come and be a part of it." And so I went up to Minneapolis to be a part of his musicians clinic, and they were talking, and pretty much a who's who of Black Minneapolis musicians were there, but 2 drummers were missing. And there was a lot of buzz about the 2 drummers that weren't there. And one of them was Jelly Bean Johnson, which I'd already had the opportunity to meet with the time. And then the other one I'd never heard of before, but they described him. And they described his physical stature, and they described his playing, and they described his ear and his mind and his approach and his method of communicating. And they didn't mince words. They were very frank about all those things. And I said, this sounds like somebody that I really want to meet. And so I was ear hustling. I wasn't even in the conversation. They were like, "Oh, he plays down at Bunkers." So I went down to Bunkers and found out that he lived up to everything that I had heard. And I didn't even know that this was the Prince guy. Like, I was a big Prince fan, but didn't even realize this was the same guy from the Prince records. And so I started going down to Bunkers just because I was a fan of Michael. And then through that, I learned about Sonny and, you know, Margie and those other legends that are down there. And, you know, we just connected through that. We had the opportunity to do one thing through a guy named Greg Washington that ended up not coming to pass. But then through the beauty of social media, Michael and I discovered that we cared about a lot of the same issues and weren't afraid to talk about them. And in the world of music, that's pretty rare. And so we started becoming closer as a result of that. And I've been very privileged to do some work with Michael, but I've been even more privileged to do stuff like this with him, where we basically are able to advocate and bring to the forefront, things in the world that are important to us. We've used this show to talk about Black Lives Matter stuff, to talk about COVID-19 stuff. And again, him and I are both, we're passionate, we're informed and educated, and we're not shy. And so it's been a really great working relationship as far as that.
I was kind of wanting to hear a little bit more about your guitar playing.
I mean,
you know what? That's what I do too. I got to tell you, people go, "Oh, what makes your band so great?" And I'm like, Michael, and I just start talking about Michael.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a great rhythm player. That's what I love to do. I can play lead stuff, but I just like to play funky rhythm stuff. Give me a cut to sit in, and I'll make it feel good.
Right, the real deal. Not these guys that just want to rip leads all the time. Talking to you, Ryan Smith.
But Ryan's a monster, though. Ryan's a killer.
I don't get to play any leads, man. That's why our leads don't get any better.
Well, I guess we know what's going to be on the next Soul Asylum record. It's going to be all Dave playing lead guitar.
Hey, listen, he's threatened to do a trio many times.
Well, anyways, enough about Michael. No, I'm kidding.
I don't even know where to really take this conversation. I mean, you want to take some questions?
I mean, y'all were going deep into, before we circled back to introductions, y'all were going deep into just how many drummers got auditioned before Dave finally came to his senses and hired Michael.
Well, the last guy he asked prior to was Dave Grohl the last dude you talked to about it before I joined, or no?
Actually, Dave was the first guy I talked to after Grant left the band and Kurt passed away. So I felt a little awkward about it, but I had to ask him. Sure. And he was really cool about it. He gave me the first Foo Fighters cassette, and he's going, "This is what I'm doing." And I was like, "Oh, what? Wow." He's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty much playing everything and singing and stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, maybe you should do that." I wasn't,
Yeah.
But yeah, many drummers in between drummers, and just a lot of auditions, and we played gigs with a lot of different drummers. And I mean, the last time Michael was unable to come to a gig, I got Sterling, and I looked at the other guys in the band and I go, "Am I crazy? Is that the only guy that can kind of pull off what Michael pulls off?" And they were like, "Yeah, I get it. I get it." Well, it's pretty apparent. It just leaves the right amount of, it's like drummers that play songs kind of thing. It leaves the right amount of feel and space and buoyancy where I don't feel like somebody's driving up my ass with a drum set,
Yeah, it's a very...
And if you're too timid, that doesn't work either.
Well, yeah, I don't know what it is. It's a lot of it is in the mind of whoever's playing. It's like I need to when I have had to work with the dudes in, it's like I don't know how to imbue them with, like, you have to play with it's aggressive music, but you don't approach the drums that way. You have to play loud, but you can't play stiff. And the problem is usually when drummers start playing loud, they stiffen up. And it's a thing where you still got to stay loose. And as far as content, I mean, any professional knows the best way to judge what you should be playing is by what everybody else is playing. So, but teaching a person to listen is harder than you think.
That's usually what I tell people. Like, people, you know, a lot of people are like, well, what's that music thing all about? And I'm like, it's pretty much more about listening than it is about making noise.
It really is. I choose my moments very carefully. I don't want to step on any important lyrics or, you know, like there's time and space for everything to happen. But what I play for is to support the music. I'm there for everybody else to rely on. That's really my main goal. And if they feel like I'm, you know, coming down the line, you know, coming for them, that ain't the best feeling for your bandmates. They want to feel like you're on their side. And so many drummers are, so that it's like a confrontational context they come from, you know. Or if you're only interested in drumming, then you're not listening to everybody else. And then you should be playing a clinic somewhere. But if you're playing music, don't even classify yourself as a drummer. Say you're a musician and then live up to it. You know what I mean?
There's probably not many drummers. I'm kidding. There's just a drummer joke in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah. I have to have one. I can't. I used to know a few. What do you call a guy that hangs around musicians? A drummer?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you know when the stage is level? The drummer's drooling out of both sides of his mouth.
What do you call a drummer without a girlfriend? Homeless.
Yeah. You hear about the bass player that locked his keys in the car? It took 2 hours to get the drummer out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, wow.
So
why did I bring that up?
You kind of walked into that one, Mike.
We can turn it around though. How many lead singers does it take to change a light bulb? Just one. He holds the bulb, and the world revolves around him.
I love that joke.
So,
it's very. The chemistry is weird here because we normally get into all this, you know, this heaviness, and Dave is certainly can not only keep up, but he could lead us through it. But I don't know how heavy I really want to get with it.
Well, did you see there was a question? You want me to put it up on the screen?
Sure. I mean, other than that, it's just me and Dave kind of vibing on each other because I haven't seen him in months.
Well, I mean, we can do both. I was going to ask some music stuff, but I'm happy to get into the politics too.
Well, let's make sure they get their money.
Detroit. Yeah, I kind of agree with the mayor in Portland that's saying get these guys out of here. They're just escalating everything. That makes a certain amount of sense. If you've got a bunch of, you know, whatever you want to refer to protesters as, people that don't like fascism, and then you put a bunch of soldiers on them, it's just going to make it worse. I don't understand anything other than that, really. Isn't that kind of just feeding into the whole, oh yeah, man, now you want to rumble? Fuck you, get out of our city, you know?
Sort of, yeah.
It does seem to completely miss the optics that they're doing everything that people are protesting them for doing in response to the protesters. Like, if we're protesting the murder of unarmed civilians, they're then turning around and murdering protesters. You know, I don't get the optics of it. I don't see, you know, I mean, I guess I have too much humanity because it doesn't make sense to me.
It's aggressive.
Yeah. Speaking of aggressive.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's not how you do it. I thought the mayor of Minneapolis did the right thing when he just pulled all the cops out of the neighborhood. It helps things to not get worse, you know?
Yeah. I think he did everything that he could do, but I was a little sad when he went down to the George Floyd memorial site and they started saying, "Go home, Jacob."
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man. Why are you messing with a little mayor like that? Little mayor is all right, man. I believe he's gonna blossom into the job. He's gonna be a much better mayor than people are expecting. I have high hopes for him. Deliberate escalation.
Tonsils. What does tonsils mean?
Trying to see is what she meant.
Yeah.
Oh, trying to see. Got it. Okay. Yeah. You know, I agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, because it's trying to, you know, it's just trying to sort of teach people a lesson or scare people or show them who's boss, you know, and that's, you know, I think that's the way the president thinks. Like, just brutal force is what's going to scare these people from doing this.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably the opposite.
Yeah. It's I mean, he's been on the bully train since he got in.
Yeah, that's right.
You know.
We try not to refer to him by name here. We've been calling him Voldemort or the one who shall not be named. Just
That's right. He went off script because Pirner can say whatever he wants.
He can say whatever he wants. I'm just.
I didn't say his name.
Got him on the show is to say whatever he wants to say.
Yeah.
I just called him the president, which I'm still not saying his name, but maybe that's.
Oh no, you can say his name if you want to. I was
not
just
derogatory enough.
Yeah,
what
I was just.
Could Spike Lee call him Agent Orange?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just letting you in on our joke. That's all that was. I wasn't trying to say you couldn't say anything. Andrea wanted to make sure that we brought up the moms that band together to protect the protesters. Unfortunately, they started tear gassing the moms too. I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah, they're really showing that they don't care. I mean, you know, they're trying to make sure we realize all lives matter. Like, oh, we'll bust these black people. We'll turn around and get a couple of white people too.
That's what the president said. That was weird.
Uh-huh.
Agent Orange.
Yeah.
Oh, white people die from the cops too. What a fucking dumb
Let me show you.
What the hell?
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Let's get into some stuff that some of these fans might not know about, Dave. Because I want to know, Dave. Is anybody specifically that made you want to write songs, or was it just something you started doing? Did you hear a song go, I could do that, and then pursue it, or?
I think I'm pretty typical as far as somebody that was really brought into music via punk rock, the Ramones. That's when I started going, that sounds like I could decipher it, you know, like not like, oh, I could do that, but it's too easy or whatever. But like, it's like Woody Guthrie. There's, you know, it's 3 chords and some, it's crazy. So I think I'm different than other people, a lot of other people, because I started playing trumpet in 3rd grade and switched to saxophone in junior high school, and then kind of switched to guitar shortly thereafter. The other guy that was the trumpet player, his older brother was my teacher. And he made the dubious move of lending me his Jimi Hendrix record. And I was like, okay, wait, hold on. I got to rethink this. I think I want to do more something like that than play another weather report. That's a bad example, but you know, you get what I'm saying.
And whatnot, which is great to listen to. It can open your mind, and it's clear to me, even more so, that your ear was on all that eccentric music, but somehow you distilled it. You put it into your context, like the way you used listening to Mahavishnu Orchestra or Weather Report or, you know, old Jeff records or what have you. Like, it's in Soul Asylum music. It's just not super obvious to anybody who doesn't know, you know, what you were marinating in during the mid-70s.
Yeah, I mean, it's a unique situation, and you know, I feel lucky, blessed that I had the opportunity to do it. It's a very humble experience, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I think it's a lot of listening. I don't discern styles of music. I don't like it. I don't like it when people are like, well, that's garage, jungle, DJ something. I'm like, I just want to see if I like listening to it. And then I'll decide if, you know, it always turns out to be something that's not, you know, whether it's a country song or a hip hop song or a rock and roll song or whatever you want to call it, it changes with the song pretty much. It doesn't matter what kind of music it is to me anyways.
Okay. are you consciously listening for an interesting narrative? Are you
An interesting what?
an interesting narrative, an interesting story?
Yes, of course. I mean, I think when I started listening to Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen and Lou Reed, that's really where I started to turn a corner into kind of trying to understand the poets that I was reading and like stuff like that. I'm like, oh, this is where someone can have a voice and say something, not do da. I mean, or whatever, So I think that the more I started listening to music that seemed to have some sort of a, I don't know, socio-political is the word that I use sometimes, but I don't even know if that's using it right. But that's kind of really pushed me forward as far as going, well, I want to say something, So
okay, I'm kind of going
well,
around.
I'm not a trumpet player anymore. It's too hard.
Oh, now, Dave, of course you're a trumpet player. The first track on a new record, you're playing trumpet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was about to make a joke about him pulling out the trumpet, but now, okay, I can actually go and hear it.
No, it takes some leg pulling and some, some hazing, but he can make that thing do some things if you beat him up enough.
It's like if the trumpet comes on the road, no one knows if it's good news or bad news. It's like the good news is we brought your trumpet. The bad news is we brought your trumpet.
So you brought that, huh? You're gonna bring that?
Yeah, it's like a mandolin or something.
It's an accordion.
Yes, very good. Dave wants to play the accordion again tonight, and everybody's like, "Oh God!"
Well, speaking of musician jokes, the accordion jokes. You heard about the accordion player that left his instrument in the back seat of his car. He came back out, and the window was broken. There were 2 more accordions.
I've never heard that one. That's pretty good.
So,
I like that.
So there have been a few really good questions in here. I don't know if we want to jump around.
Why not?
Okay. Well, so I know we kind of touched on it before, but someone specifically asked when you decided to ask Michael to join the band, or how did you come to that decision?
I heard about Michael probably when he was 14. People were talking about him in the small sector of the music community that I was in, more or less. People just kept talking about this dude, and I was like, I got to figure out who this guy is. And by the time Sterling left to go play with David Bowie, another thing that you can't get that upset about.
Sure can't.
All right. So then I got this British guy, Ian, and he kind of worked out, or kind of not really, sort of. And then I was back in Minneapolis, and I heard that Michael was available to come in and audition for the band, and it was a 2-minute audition. I was just like, oh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So it was pretty easy.
Yeah, but the funny part is, I think it might have been the second day into rehearsing new music for the Silver Lining. We were running through the arrangements to a click and working on Bus Named Desire and a few. Success Is Not So Sweet. I don't remember what song it was, but you stopped. Hey, wait a minute, guys. Hold on. You stopped Dan and Carl and just said, hey, man, why don't you just join the band, man? And I took less than 10 seconds, and I went, okay. That's literally what happened.
It was pretty great. It was a great day for me, I'll tell you that.
Oh.
Here's another question. Does the band intend to do any project with an orchestra in the future?
Well, if someone's got an orchestra they want to lend us, we're in.
Well, we already got a trumpet player.
Yeah.
So you're halfway there.
But yeah, I mean, the few times that we have played with strings, we're usually, like MTV Unplugged and things like that, where there was a budget where they go, well, what do you need? And you go, well, how much can we have? All right, I'll take a string section, please. But yeah, I mean, I do remember sitting in the Minneapolis Youth Symphony Orchestra because I had a sticker on my trumpet case, and being overwhelmed by how cool it was to be in a band that had 100 people in it. I was just like, this is so cool. Just, you know, you spend a lot of time listening to the violins because they seem to, I don't know, be an important part of an orchestra. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, it's really cool when all those musicians are playing together, and it just sounds gorgeous, you know. So yeah, you know, classical music is also not something that I shy away from, you know.
So the last question I'll throw up there for now is somebody asked that, is there a similar story with Ryan as there is with Michael in terms of how did you find him and, you know, decide that he was going to become?
Well, I guess it's kind of a similar process, and Michael probably remembers it more than I do, where we just had people coming in and playing with us, and okay, let's give this guy another audition, or, you know, and then it was like, well, who is that guy with the Converse shoes and the striped T-shirt, and he's like, oh, that was Ryan, and I'm like, I think that's the guy. Let's have him back. And then it kind of became apparent. That's my recollection.
Michael?
Yes?
I was just seeing if you had anything to add to that question.
I'm sorry. I was distracted because I was trying to tell my friend Gabriel that we're having him on August 11th. I think he thought that I was just clearing something up. I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
Basically, Michael, I was just saying that we brought Ryan in for a second audition, and at that point, it was pretty obvious. We had auditioned a lot of players, and he just seemed like the right fit. And that's kind of how I remember it going. And we played with a lot of great guitar players. You know, the weird thing for me is that I kind of enjoy auditioning other musicians because I've been playing with a 4-piece band for 30-some years.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to see what else somebody else is going to bring. And the pressure's not on me, you know.
It's the one time that I'm not staring at Dave during the entire set going, come on, man, give it to me. So there is that. I think I always felt that Ryan would be a good fit. I didn't know him so well, so I set out to get to know him so I could give him, you know, so I could be sure, because being in a band is like being married. Like, you know, it's like it's gonna be more about the time you spend with a person than it is really the time you're spending making music. It's, you know, because on a tour bus, you're talking about 22 hours of nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
which is a nice segue for me to say the last time I did one of these, what are these things called? Zoom things or something?
This is just a live broadcast on Facebook.
So they're asking me a lot of questions about the situation in Minneapolis, and I'm like, well, if you want to, I mean, I said, unfortunately, I'm blessed to have 2 African-American dudes in my band, and they don't give me a hard time for asking them dumb questions, and we have really great conversations. And
yeah,
like you were saying, with 20 hours on a bus,
you better like who you're hanging out with.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, people ask all the time, what's it like? I'm like, it's family. I mean,
I say to Winston, I say, can I ask you a Paul Mooney question from the Chappelle thing? Like, ask a real black person, like, or whatever.
and while
he's like, okay, you know, and it's some dumb question. And he's like, Pern, let me try to explain this to you. And then when Michael's there, I get even more like perspective. And they laugh at me sometimes.
What?
They just
Yeah, we do.
Silly white boy.
Not that so much. I mean, I think it's who else are you going to ask without risking getting in
that's right.
Fight, you know,
we're on a bus together, so it's not going to be very cool if we all start to have arguments.
Right. We
We talk it out, man.
We can't hurt you. We need you.
We talk it out.
We can't kill you. We need you.
Yeah, it's very lucky for me, or fortunate, or whatever you want to say it. I've been blessed with some great musicians, and their opinions matter to me as much as anything else. And I don't, doesn't matter what color their skin is, but obviously there's a caveat between the races more so than ever. I just think it's sad. I don't understand it. The civil rights movement was so long ago. What the hell is going on? How is this possible? I thought we had made this progress in the 60s, and it doesn't seem to be getting better, which is sad.
I got you. Except for all those depressing records in the 70s, like What's Going On and Talking Book. And essentially the civil rights movement. I always say that it failed, and people go, well, no, you got the Fair Housing Act and you got the right to vote. So it wasn't a complete failure. I'm like, yeah, okay. And up until Memorial Day weekend, you could also say they stopped killing us in the street. And then you got George Floyd. So it's like, okay, I can't even say that.
Right. It's depressing.
It is.
It's weird. I don't find those records very depressing. I find them really like what's going on just as like a breath of fresh air for me. And it seems more relevant than ever right now.
Yeah. But Berry Gordy was petrified. He was scared to drop that record. He's like, we don't do social commentary at Motown. You're going to bankrupt the company. Mm-hmm. We can't get behind this. They wanted to be the sound of Young America, but they had to realize that Young America was developing a conscience, and Marvin was there before they got there. And it's to Berry Gordy's, credit. He did listen, and it's one of the greatest records of all time, and they more than made their money back for what they put into it. Same thing happened with Songs in the Key of Life. Stevie said, I got to do a double album. And Barry was like, where are you going to get the money to do that?
That record was a life changer for me. That just was such a pivotal record for me.
Right. And Songs in the Key of Life was the first double album to debut at #1.
Huh. So I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's Sonny and I were listening to Songs in the Key of Life on the bus in Italy. We were on tour, and the other dudes in the band were from Naples, from Napoli, and they come down stretching and yawning, and they start singing along to some. I said, "You guys know, you got Songs in the Key of Life." Michele, everybody knows Song in the Key. Like, what are you, stupid? Steve changed the world with that record. So
it's a masterpiece for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a kind of a segue question. Of the songs that you've written, Dave, what would you like? So let's say there's a lot of people that watch our stream that are, again, interested in the same issues that we're interested in, and they may not be conversant in Soul Asylum. What are some songs that you've written that specifically address, some of these same issues we talk about, like, racism and classism and disparities and things like that? What would you say are your most, what's the word you used before? Socio-political songs?
Yeah.
Do you want to do this, or I can do it?
Go ahead. I don't care. Yeah.
Some of them are completely obvious. Black Gold during the mystical bridge, the musical adventure. That's the sounds of the street are from the Rodney King riots.
Which was on TV, so we just recorded the TV and put it in the middle of.
I don't know how many fans knew that, but that's what all that. You're hearing the sirens going and everything. That's the Rodney King riots.
It gives it a real context.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Eyes of a Child is absolutely important. Somebody is saying Eyes of a Child is a good treatise on economic equality. Susie Griffith. Hi, Susie. Susie Griffiths is saying that.
Hi, Susie. But yeah, even the name Soul Asylum was kind of it was a sort of a song that was kind of based on where rock and roll comes from, which in my humble opinion is kind of an African-American phenomena. So yeah, I mean, there's a song called Motel No-Tell that's about Native Americans, and there's quite a few songs where I'm just commenting on my surroundings and how it affects me. Start treating people right, and it goes on and on. So, I'll compile a list.
That was,
I like to sort of sprinkle it into everything a little bit, so I don't really write straight up love songs and shit. It's not what I'm here to do.
Yeah, absolutely. You're here to make important art.
On that note, here's a good question that somebody asked a few minutes ago that kind of segues perfectly from there. Are there any new artists right now that are inspiring you?
Me?
Yeah.
God, it's always such a tough question. And when I find a band like Cage the Elephant, I go, all right, there's a rock band. Or when I hear, I really like the Tiny Desk thing, the NPR thing. It's just so great. And that's the first time I saw Anderson .Paak. So I come to the practice space and I'm like, Michael, I just discovered this dude. And he's like, dude, you are fucking 10 years late, I'm like, that kind of thing. But he's great,
I see. I want to say this. I guess this is the forum to tell these stories. We were driving somewhere. We were like in a van or in a like a what do they call it? All-terrain vehicle.
Ah, yes, the runner.
Yeah, and well, no, but this was like we were on the freeway.
Okay.
And it was nighttime, and you were behind me, and you pulled out To Pimp a Butterfly. Put this in. I gotta listen to this record. My kid's all into Kendrick Lamar now. Like, he's on about this record. Here, I just bought it at the truck stop. They put this in, and I don't know if we listened to any of the songs in full. We like eject that thing right now. Roll the window down. Pimp a Butterfly out the window.
That's amazing. And then I went and saw
back and heard it again and went, well, okay.
Okay. Yeah. And then I went and saw Kendrick Lamar at Voodoo Fest with my kid and his cousin. And, I don't know how much of it was how excited they were, but I thought it was great. So now I listen to him quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's sometimes the first time is a little shocking or something. I don't know.
I agree. It was, I don't think it wasn't Kendrick's night. He hit the freeway. He went right to the embankment.
Some stuff hits you right away, and some stuff takes a few. And it's hard for me because I'm one of those people that if a song doesn't grab me in the first 10 to 20 seconds, I usually hit skip. And then sometimes I'll miss out on some songs that I'll go back and love because I didn't have the patience to fall in love with it the first time around.
Yeah, sometimes you got to be in the right headspace when you're listening to something new. Also, there's so much music that I'd rather be listening to that I know is going to deliver.
I mean, the first time I played the Sex Pistols record, I was like, what is this?
What, the Nevermind the Bollocks?
Yeah, but something inside me went, play it again. Okay, I'm starting to get this. Okay. So
same here on that one. I bought it because I figured, well, I've been hearing so much about this my whole life. I need to see what this is about. And they came on, and I was like, I don't know about this. Who's this Malcolm McLaren guy? Is he in the band? No, he's not in the band. He's some sort of idol maker or some sort of.
Yeah.
And then I find out he's got ties to like Africa Bambaataa and so on and so forth. And, so I came around with the Sex Pistols.
So I threw Eric's question up there. I thought it was a good way to segue in case anybody hasn't downloaded the tracks you currently have on the website. It's really hard to do live concerts right now because of the pandemic. But Soul Asylum has on their website 2 tracks for free download, but they ask you to sign a petition for George Floyd and to make sure that you're registered to vote. I think that's probably about the only Live Aid type of concert that could be done right now. Wouldn't you say, Michael or Dave?
Well, considering that we can't all gather anywhere, Yeah, well, we are doing it. We're going to try to do something that we're going to play a live show and put it on the internet. And that's probably going to be, an empty bar or our practice space or something like that. But we're gearing up to do that.
Yeah.
And, me and Ryan just made 100 songs on the internet. And that sort of kept me on my toes a little bit.
Yeah, I was impressed, man. You guys really ran it, man. I was not expecting all that.
Well, I would love to play that gig. God willing, this virus goes away. Soul Asylum's there. I'm always there when there's something in Minneapolis, trouble on the north side, whatever. I'm there. I want to play.
I can verify the first 2 or 3 shows I did with Soul Asylum were all benefits. I mean, Dave has more than lived up to his civic responsibility.
Yeah, that must have been a little discerning. Like, don't you guys ever get paid?
I was a new guy and I didn't want to complain. But I'm like, if you guys are working for free, who am I to complain at all? So,
but they were cool gigs, all these things that I do where, the musicians in Minneapolis come together. It's always really great because you're out of the context of, oh, well, this is that kind of a bar, or this is that kind of a band, or this is that. And then we all play together. And God, me and Michael, as far as I'm concerned, have had some great experiences. Just sort of thinking outside the box of let's rock First Avenue for the rest of our lives, or which we will.
I was telling Dan earlier about when we did that the Dakota with Larry Long, the American Roots Review. That was such a rewarding situation, and you put people together who don't seem like they should go together. But I mean, really, it was such a love fest. I mean, Dave starts singing, and I remembered you kind of looking at Robert Robinson.
Thank you.
Saying like, well, I'm no great singer like you guys, and Robert was like, no, you move me, you make me feel something when you're singing, and that's really important.
That's really kind of where it's at. Because I just like, this guy is unbelievable. And I had not been in a room with him yet and really heard him sing.
Right. And this was just at rehearsal. And Dave was just like, wow. And then got on and did his thing. And yeah, really, it's like, Dave, it's not something technical. It's not a matter of something you can practice. I mean, all other than just being honest, I mean, I think that a person's sincerity is all they really got.
True that.
It's like, if you're not coming from a real place, I'm not really interested.
Yeah, and it seems kind of, what do you say? It seems kind of prevalent that people are kind of going along with it until they're not having hits or whatever, and then they go on to do something else, which we're all lifers at this point, pretty much.
Isn't that bizarre that you really can't fool the public? Like, in that respect, like, they know the difference between a fraud and somebody who's bringing it for real. Because it's then you're talking about the intersection of the spirit or things, the visceral things. Like, they can for some strange reason the public can sense if you're a fraud.
Sometimes.
I wasn't going to go there, Dave. That's all right. And speaking of that, I mean, this is what I've always thought, Dave, is that is it fair to say a lot of your songs are autobiographical?
Yeah, it's fair.
I mean, and I remember we had a brief conversation about how you kind of, every time you sing a song from your catalog, the ghost of whoever that person is about, or the ghost of the situation, is resurrected. Like, you have to go through all sorts of tactile memories and feelings about every one of your songs.
That's weird.
How exhausting is that?
It was kind of just really going back into songs that I'd written when I was 18 or whatever, and just going and sort of feeling those feelings again. It's kind of exhausting because you know, I got a week to figure these things out, and then I'm like, God, I don't want to blow this, you know, because I haven't played this song in 30 years, so I might really screw it up. And I think that sort of added to the spontaneity of it. It's just live. There's no way out. You can't press it
No
up.
way out.
You
Right.
know?
It's live and there's no way out.
Yeah. Who would you like to? I got a question for Dan. Who would you like to collaborate with and cut a record?
You know, Audrey meant that for you, and not only that, Audrey's been to two of our shows. I'm sure she was asking you, Dave, but we can get to that after Dan answers.
I mean, in all honesty, yeah, my favorite people that I have and haven't collaborated with yet are all Minneapolis. I would have loved to have done something with Prince. I actually got a couple phone calls and didn't take them, and those are that'll chase me for the rest of my life. You know, I'd love to do something with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and then Michael Bland and Sonny Thompson. And I've actually had that privilege so far, and I've, you know, God willing, will have that privilege many more times again in the future. But those are the list for me. Prince was at the top, and then Jimmy and Terry under that, and then Michael and Sonny. And if I had to pick anyone else, I'd say Stevie Wonder.
Wow.
But my thing about it is that, like, I don't know. I feel differently about Stevie. Doesn't intimidate me for some reason. You know, Sonny Thompson. Well, I have not met him, but my godbrother, the one that you've met, worked with him very extensively for many years, and I did come to a couple shows. I haven't actually gotten close enough to speak to him, but I was, you know, I got to get the vibe, you know.
Every time I've seen him, he scared the mess out of me, man.
Interesting.
The first time we met was when Prince had he had a glam slam out in Los Angeles, and we had just played something for VH1, and then the after party was there, and Stevie was early, and we walked in like he came to sound check because I think he was gonna. Well, later on he sat in, but meeting him it was like, oh, hey, Stevie's over here. He wanted to meet you guys, and the three of us looked at each other. Well, actually the four of us: Morris, Tommy, Sonny, and me. And it was like, what am I gonna say to Stevie Wonder? And we walked up. Oh, hi! It's great to meet you. I'm a big fan, and you know, and he just, you know, he was just sitting there, and he said, "Thank you very much." You know, there was that, and then there was also at the Prince tribute at the Excel Center in October of 2016, with Chaka Khan came and performed, and so did Steve. And he hung around all day. I mean, he stood backstage probably for 30 minutes, just signing autographs, just hugging people, taking pictures. Like, he was so generous with his time. And I just said, "I love you, Stevie. Yeah, I love you back." Everybody just, you know, it's one thing to see somebody on TV. It can be different when you're in the presence of them, because you can't determine what happens when spirits interact. You know, like with him, you get a sense, not with everybody, but you can sometimes catch a glimpse or a feeling of where a person sits I mean, I guess I didn't want to necessarily go all the way there, but not everybody, you can't see on everybody the authority they walk in or their place in the kingdom. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It could be a garbage man, but if you don't really know them, it's hard to tell. You can't tell so much. But with musicians, it's like usually there's a glow, there's a thing. People usually know if you make music, and I've always found that strange. But you know, I guess one of the things is we don't dress conventional. Yeah. So I guess that's the tell. It's like, well, this dude is dressed real weird. He must be a musician.
I don't know if it's that or if it's a spirit thing or what it is, but yeah, I can usually tell if I'm playing a gig, whether it's a church gig, a club gig, whatever, and another musician walks in. That's another musician. Like, there's something about him. You can always tell.
We can usually spot each other, you know. But I guess well, you'll meet Stevie and we'll see.
Yeah.
I ain't scared of you, Stevie.
I mean, he just his spirit seems so warm to me that he doesn't, he doesn't seem like when you talk about him being backstage and signing autographs for hours, he seems like genuinely that person.
Yeah, I mean, he was not. I mean, he was. I mean, it's just you're dealing with somebody who's been a genius their entire life, basically.
Yeah,
you talk about somebody who changed the face of modern music. It's I don't know. When every time I see him, it just the hits just start rolling in my head. I think about the fact that I've known Stevie Wonder's music. I've known of his existence since since I was probably 2 years old. It's so that for me, it was like that would be almost like meeting Michael Jackson, which I never did, but
that would be weird.
It'd be strange, wouldn't it?
It seems like it. Like you'd have a lot of security issues or something.
Oh, you're saying the actually meeting him would be difficult.
I could see why Dan would say meeting Stevie Wonder seems like a more personable experience than
a more normal situation.
Yeah,
Madonna or Michael Jackson or somebody that everybody is lined up to. I don't know.
I suppose. I mean, I guess. But again, it's like I think some of that has to do with the energy in the person, like what they attract, or what they're in pursuit of, or why they make music. Because we don't all do it for the same reason.
I met. Wait, that's not how I meant to start that out. When my ex-wife was 7-8 months pregnant, we went and saw Stevie Wonder. And I really did feel like he could hear it or feel it in the womb or something. Mm-hmm. So then we're walking down Frenchman Street in New Orleans, and I see that Stevie's in the local restaurant eating, and I'm with the kid. The kid is 3. And my heart just started pounding, and I was like, I want to go introduce him. I want to introduce my 4-year-old to Stevie Wonder because it's meaningful to me for some reason, But he was eating, so I'm like, I don't want to bug someone while they're eating. So,
that's I understand that, Dave. I got you. I get that.
So that was supposed to be a question for you, though, Dave, in terms of who you would like to collaborate with.
I can answer that because the next person, the next person you're going to collaborate with is me anyway.
That's right.
He came in rehearsal one day talking about the Green Book. And we got all the way into it. And I think that Dave is the right person. Not a lot of people are qualified to tell this story about the Green Book or about, he's got a very specific viewpoint about the disparate, the isolated, the shunned, just people in unfortunate circumstances. And I believe that, I don't know, we haven't really written together, but I feel like this is really an important story to tell. And I want to tell it with Dave about the Green Book, what it means, and the fact that it had to even exist, that a travel manual for Black people to avoid, getting shot, lynched.
What was it? 6 million copies? Is that the text that I sent you? I was like, holy shit, that's a lot of books.
The fact that somebody, felt it was necessary is that in and of itself. The fact that you need something like that to protect your life, and you're just a traveler.
Yeah.
You're just trying to get to where you're going. And somebody went, here's a guide to the places that are safe for you to eat, sleep, get gas, so that you don't have to give your life. You don't have to die just trying to make it to your destination. So I think that because of my familiarity with Dave's work and the fact that he brought it up that day, something just clicked inside me, and it said that we need to do this, Dave. We need to write an entire album based on the Green Book. I don't care from what perspective, or it can be vignette style. We can discuss it in terms of, you know, we can tell different stories, or we can, you know, or you can, how am I looking to say it? Or you can use it as a metaphor for the treatment of all people everywhere.
Sure.
There's so much you can do with it. And we're having this conversation for the first time really here about how to use the content. And
did you like the movie?
I have not seen the movie. I mean, I was telling you that my parents had that book. Whenever we go down to Bogalusa every summer, like that was how we knew.
Well, here's my question: is how much were white people involved in the Green Book in a way that it was like they liked it too? Because this tells people that they can't come to our restaurant or whatever. I mean, that's
I hadn't even thought about that.
I don't even know.
Talking about.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I guess you can use it for evil or you can use it for good. Like most things, most books.
I think everybody, maybe not. Maybe some people never have that experience, but the sort of cliche, or I guess the first time I saw it in a movie was Easy Rider. And they just walk into a restaurant and it's just dirty looks, hairy eyeballs, people going, what the fuck are they doing here? How do we get them out of here? Mm-hmm. That whole feeling, you know, when you're young and you're in a rock band, you get that a lot. I mean, you really do. Mm-hmm. Like, who the fuck are these guys? What are they doing here? Why are they dressed like that? Like, what's going on?
Right.
That's just people not being familiar with xenophobia or being afraid of what you don't know, or just ignorance, I guess.
Hearing anything different than themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think you've known enough about that in your lifetime, and so have I, Dave, and for different reasons. But I really feel like it's a collaboration that needs to happen, and I guess that's all I have to say about that. We're going to collaborate because I won't shut up about it until we do.
That's going to be a really interesting album. Looking forward to hearing that.
Up with something great. If we come up with something great, you can't just give it to Lady Boy. That was a joke.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I forgot about that. That's the last time I played. I was just like leveling the mix out, and he comes walking downstairs. What's that? There's a song I'm working on with Dave Pirner. He opens his notebook and just starts writing. This song is called Soft Boy Video Ho. I said,
Say
really?
It again?
He said, this song is called Soft Boy Video Ho.
Okay.
And then I played the track. He just started singing it for me. I'm like, okay, you're pretty undeniable with it, man. Like, you got me. I don't know how to tell Dave that I'm giving the idea to you.
I want to hear it.
Okay, well,
it better be good.
So I'll make sure you hear it. It's pretty stupid, man, and in the best possible way. It's got this annoying.
It's weird.
It's an
Michael's like, it's just a fucking chromatic, blah blah blah, and then it's just there's something really cool about it.
It's a weird earwig of an idea that just kind of happened. And Kim and I, my wife, we were watching the video for Hey Ya earlier this evening. I was like, yeah, I guess it is kind of like Hey Ya. Like, I can't say I really like that the song doesn't annoy me, but I won't turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're in the right territory, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Annoying everybody, and they don't have to change the dial.
That's the kind of music that is very marketable.
Yeah, I think we got something. He's talking about doing a video, like kind of an S&M video to it. I mean, you know, we're gonna. And by the way, he's named Winter Jones now. So the Lady Boy is dead. Long live Lady Boy. But Winter Jones, that's his legal name.
He changed his name legally to Winter Jones.
Winter Jones, yes, that is his stage name. That's his real name.
Well, you got to play me that track someday, anyways.
I'll be happy to, Dave. And rest. I mean, you got.
I want to know how to do that.
Stars are on it, man. I mean, you played some great stuff.
So I collaborated with Lady Boy.
Yes, you did.
With Winter Jones.
Winter Jones.
That's all right. It's hard. Yeah, he's changed his name so many times. I don't know what the.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what's up for these people changing their names. I mean, that's just what people do.
Kind of now. It's strange, man. It's I mean,
the artist formerly known as Lenny Kravitz.
Did he change his name?
No,
I think he changed it, and then he went back to his real name. It was kind of a John Cougar Mellencamp thing.
Ooh,
a little bit.
That would be a good
I think I could be wrong, but I think that Lenny put out a record or two under some different name. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, but they all.
Then he went back to Lenny and got into the rock and roll and whatever.
Everybody wants an alter ego. Isn't Beyonce Sasha Fierce?
That's her alter ego. I also feel like some people keep reinventing themselves until they find a version they like. Or maybe they're still looking for the version they like.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, I feel like some people are never happy until,
until they're famous.
But I don't know if you can see, Dave, on the side here. There's a lot of people have been asking a lot of questions, but there's way too many for us to deal with all of them. If anything catches your eye and you want to address it, you're more than welcome to.
I don't see them. I was getting little questions.
I can throw. There was
coming up.
I can throw every so like. Here's one that I thought was a good one. We can throw up on the screen.
Sure.
You said, and the horse they rode in on was recorded essentially live. It's many people's favorite album. Oh, we lost him.
Yeah, well, I don't know where Dave went.
Maybe he'll be back. Dave? Is this
we'll see.
About to be a twosome?
I mean, it's not like let me just check with Janine and just make sure that she's still there.
All right. It was going to be rock and roll. Some things were going to happen.
Yeah. So yeah, I know you told me about the concept for the Green Book album, but I completely forgot about it until you brought it up. That's such an interesting concept album, and I think, especially given Soul Asylum's audience, it'll introduce that to a whole new audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but if you're a fan of Soul Asylum, you already are interested in social issues. Because if you're not, there's no reason to listen. I mean, there are so many songs that are just about being disenfranchised, just being outside, So, yeah, Lenny Kravitz was Romeo. I wasn't sure if he was Romeo Blue or that was the name of the band, but that's probably correct.
So, in the meantime, while we wait to see where Dave went, do you want to kind of address that question that was up there? Basically, what I took that question to mean is SA going to do any more live albums?
Oh, I mean, we're always, even this last record, like a lot of. Okay.
He's back.
Okay.
We lost power.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
I'm about to lose power too. Hold on.
Oh. Why don't you guys plug in your laptops?
Listen, dude, we've been on for an hour and 40 minutes.
It's not my laptop.
An hour
every
and 40
week.
minutes.
I
figured that's what it was.
Some sort of pledge in Soul Asylum that you don't charge your electronics.
We didn't know that we were. Okay.
Yeah.
Are we on?
Yeah.
Yes, we're on.
All right. So what's the question?
Put the question back up, man.
Sure. Let me find it.
Classic.
You said and the horse they rode in on.
You said and the horse they rode in on was recorded essentially live. It's many people's favorite album, mine included. Why do you think that approach was resonated so much with Soul Asylum enthusiasts? Would you ever attempt it again? Yes, and yes. I mean,
I don't think the band is more proficient now. We could do it more easily than you probably did.
That is very true. That's really true. And it does seem like the liveness of the record is something people respond to. And is it a sonic thing? Is it the material, or is it, just the way that Steve Jordan was really pushing the band to just play live and not go, we can fix it later or any of that stuff. And yeah, he stood in a phone booth playing a snare drum for the drummer because he didn't want to click. He wanted it to feel more natural. So, you know, as maybe his, I don't know if that's the first record he produced. It's probably not. But anyways, that's kind of where I met a lot of the great players, Charlie Drayton and people like that.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, when I brought up Michael's name, Steve Jordan was like, "Oh, how's he doing?" And that, you know, and that was a long time ago. I don't even think I'd met Michael yet.
No, he had been down through Bunkers. He was in town. I think he came to Bunkers while you guys were recording. It's like 87, 86.
I'm not good with dates.
Something, yeah, sometime along that in that range. He came through and he ended up sitting in, but I didn't get a chance to ask him what he was doing in town. Yeah. So I presume that was it. I mean, I don't know what else he would have been doing here.
So yeah, I mean, we talked about it for this record, and it might have been the right choice. There was two guys from New York that wanted to record the band playing live, send it to 2-inch tape, and record the band acoustically. He was very set with. They were very set with, you know, less noise in a bigger room and having it be intimate, but also it has to be live. And we decided not to do it. But the thing that was strange about that is that it got my mindset in that way. So there's all this acoustic music on the record.
Yeah. Just
because somebody said it to me. I was like, I'll make some acoustic songs in case we end up using these guys. So yeah, I mean, it did seem sort of complicated to, you know, relocate the band to New York. I've done that many times, and you know, it is what it is. But there's definitely something to it. Like you were saying, like people recognize things that they don't even know that they're recognizing. So when people start, "Oh God, that's my favorite record," I just go, "Why?" You know, is it because it's live? You know,
you don't think the writing is superior on that record in some kind of way? You don't think that? Do you consider it being one of your best works, or do you not look at it that way? Are all your songs just your kids and?
Yeah, sadly, I do kind of apply to that cliche.
Yeah.
So it's like you're like a spider, and you have 1 million babies and 10 survive. You know, and you're just like, oh, that's weird.
Somebody asked in the comments one of the same things I was going to say, which is why not just do a live recording at First Avenue?
We did it.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. I didn't tell you. See, some things you can't tell, Dave.
You played a gig without me?
No, No, we multi-tracked the live concert at First Avenue last December.
All right. Did we ever do anything with it?
No, it's just sitting in the can. John Fields made a rough mix, and it's just sitting. I didn't know what we might want to do with it.
Is it any good?
Some of it's great.
All right.
Some of it would need to be fixed up a little bit because, you know, I mean, you remember Winston was under the weather and.
Well, then it's not live. Oh, so we won't be putting walking on that one then, huh? It's an inside band joke. One guy was playing in the wrong key.
Yeah.
Once you start out that way, you're kind of screwed from the beginning.
Yeah, where are you going to go from there? Wrong key, donkey.
I mean, I feel like from what I've heard and having seen you guys live, I feel like Soul Asylum lends itself very, very well to live albums. It just seems like the type of music and the type of chemistry, because not every band has the chemistry to really effectively pull off a live album without having to then go and do a ton of post-production. But
maybe, I mean, but we rehearsed a great deal, or we were. Like, I mean, we really stayed on it. But like, we started rehearsing the new material for the First Ave gig as early as September, I think. September or October. And just, you're talking about a minimum of 2 nights a week. So we get in there and punch the bag. but it's impossible to say what's going to happen once you step on the stage, and trying to maintain the same focus. It's just not realistic. So
I don't understand musicians that don't like to rehearse. I know you and I have this conversation all the time.
I love to rehearse. It's really something I enjoy doing. And to be honest, when I first started out with bands, my etiquette ritual, I don't know what the word was, but I was like a hockey player. So I had we're going to practice 6 days a week. We're going to practice. And that's kind of, I think, what, it was just something that kept everything together in a way that it was like I wasn't having less than that. I was like, we need to practice. I ain't going on stage with this. So I guess the point is it would be more doable now. It's just,
Yeah, because we really, the other reason why is because Dave is the last original member standing, and I'd be next in line. I've been in there for 15 years. So, and because of my reputation of just being that dude, like those two guys are going to, whether it's Jeremy or Winston or Ryan, whoever's stepping in is going to be taking things 100% serious because they know the score. It's not like, anybody's walking in and getting their feelings hurt. They know what we're there to do. They see me and Dave there. Dave uses me to threaten other people.
That's true. It's a good cop. It's a good cop, bad cop situation.
What happens when Michael walks in here? You don't have it together, man. Now, then what? You'll be here in 10 minutes, Well,
that's how we all feel, Michael. None of us want to walk in not knowing the music all the way and then have Michael Bland hear it.
I just want to make good music, man. That's all. I want everybody on this. I want to win. I want to win.
That's what I say to people these days. I'm not a competitive person, but I'm going to win.
Yeah, that's our job.
My lawn is going to look better than anyone else's lawn. I'll tell you that right now.
That's the other reason why I don't mind going out on tour and opening for anybody, because whether your fans like us or not, you're gonna know what just happened, and some groups that shall remain nameless, they caught a little bit nightly, and then we just go back to the bus and watch. What were we watching? I think we were watching Step Brothers a lot on that tour. Either Step Brothers or that Peaches video was on constantly.
Oh yeah.
I get on the bus and it's yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the title of that video.
Well, it's called, what is it? It's not even, it does have a swear word. Are you not allowed to swear on this?
We can swear.
Dave, you already let quite a few. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I always think the song is called Sucking on My Titties, but that's not what the song is called.
They'll know. They'll know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Moving on. See, let's completely shift, and I'm going to throw this question up there before it gets lost. Just to go from titties to something serious.
Hey,
what's more serious?
Titties, what's more serious? All right.
Touche.
Walk into a David Michael situation. All three of you as musicians, if you were to do a cover set list of politically powerful songs, what would your top 2 song choices be and why?
Well, wow. I mean,
you have I don't know. I think I would. I played a Woody Guthrie song the other day, and it still has this resonance to it. We were talking about what's going on, and I tried Sexual Healing, and it was kind of one of those things that was cute. But if I could,
I know somebody who was angered quite a bit by that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's punk rock, man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then Masters of War. How about that one?
Dylan.
That's my two.
Okay.
Your turn.
I mean, I'm such a Pete Seeger fan. You know, I love his work. I'm not sure where I would even. I don't know. And then I guess just to infuriate people, I think I'd do this land is your land.
I think that you probably wouldn't pick Weemawa.
No, what in the jungle, the mighty jungle?
Yeah.
The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
The Weavers covered it before that band made a hit out of it. So it's been around forever. And I think that Pete Seeger got some sort of credit that he wasn't really supposed to get. It was like a folk thing, you know?
Yeah, that's because he sings like that on what is it called? I've too many Cheech and Chong movies. What is the song actually called? Guantanamera.
Oh,
he starts doing all of that, singing like that in the jungle, the mighty jungle type thing. Cheech and Chong said 1 ton tomato. I eat a 1 ton. My mind's all messed up.
Oh God, Cheech and Chong's funny though. I just watched a little bit of it the other day, and it's.
What were you watching?
Up in Smoke.
Oh, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah, it's weird because
from their stand-up routine,
right?
Things like that.
I was never a stoner, but I always thought they were so funny.
I was too young to be a stoner when I first started listening to Cheech and Chong. I thought they were hilarious, but you know. Yeah. Anyways, your turn, Dan.
So I was thinking, You Haven't Done Nothing by Stevie Wonder, which was his Nixon criticism. And then Michael made me look closer at Dreamer by Prince. I'd never paid attention to the lyrics in that song until Michael pointed out that that was one of Prince's most woke songs. And actually, I was just talking recently, Michael, I was trying to convince Kingfish to do a cover of Dreamer. I thought that would be a really great thing for him to do right now, especially when we're all stuck at home and putting out, quarantine music. And I was gonna help him put that together. So that might actually even happen if I can talk him into it.
Yeah.
But nice. and was definitely gonna talk to Michael about that.
Well, you don't need my permission. I didn't write it.
Well, no, I was gonna ask for your help. Is what I was gonna do.
Oh, well,
but because we both support Kingfish. But
anyhow, I haven't even met him yet.
Oh yeah, we'll have him on here one of these days.
Mm-hmm.
But those are my two, and that actually bringing up a Prince song is a perfect segue to this question for Michael.
Oh, what comes to mind as similarities or differences between being an essay versus being an NPG? That's a real good question.
Can't wait to hear this one.
I hadn't really thought about it so much situationally. Let me just go with what's coming to mind. Similarly, in rehearsal, it's for keeps. You're not just goofing around or going, yeah, I'll get it. Like it's serious. It's serious business. If I pick up the sticks, I'm there to do damage. I'm not, whether it's rehearsal, the gig, whatever. And that's how Soul Asylum is. We practice like we play on stage. Our practices get plenty rowdy, especially depending on how many beers we get in us. But I guess the other thing is that, Soul Asylum was an established thing that I was walking into. NPG, I predate NPG because I was already in the band during when the Batman record came out, and I had one tour with Prince under my belt beforehand, before the band began to mutate into the new power generation. But with Soul Asylum, it's like being dropped into an environment where everybody knows each other already, been in there for many years, and it was much less about. Earlier on, it was much less about my personal interpretation of the music. It was more about, for me, it's like, how do I give these guys what I know that they're used to? And after that, I can work on putting my footprint on it, So with Prince, there was always this encouragement to step outside of the box, or it's just take an adventure. But the music worked different. I don't know how to explain. It's Soul Asylum. It's the economy of parts, where Prince had an embarrassment of riches. Like he as a musician, as somebody who was defied being categorized. That's a lot of different kind of music to know. Like it's like if he wanted to swing a little bit, then I ting ting a ting 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 ting. If he wanted to, reggae a little bit, then I got to one drop it. And I'm not saying that Soul Asylum's music doesn't have its own kind of diversity, but it's very much it's weird. It's to understand the music is to understand Dave in a strange way. I guess I'm getting to that revelation now. Whereas Prince was very kind of cloaked and much more concerned about creating this fantasy for people to walk into. Whereas Dave Pirner is about reality. He's about things that are really happening right now, because the truth is stranger than fiction anyway. And I get that. You don't have to go searching far and wide through the universe or your own imagination to find something that's totally edifying or completely messed up. Reality will do that for you. What makes Dave important is his viewpoint. What makes him important as a writer to me. And not only that it's a subject, or the subject matter never gets old. It's like Dave, the songs written for Hurry Up and Wait are as poignant as anything else. And the response that the public has had to it is proof in and of itself. I don't know that Dave continues to be fascinated with the same things in life, but he figures out a new way to express it. Always.
I wasn't gonna throw this question up there, but it perfectly goes into what you were just talking about. You have a favorite track on the new album, Michael?
I mean, today it's If I Told You. That's the name of the song.
I know.
Well, you gave me the Cindy Brady.
Well, you said today. I was waiting on what yesterday's was. I thought today, because you said today you were gonna.
Cindy Brady, when she gets she's on the quiz show and the red light goes on the camera and she just she freezes.
Now I know what that's called.
Yeah, the Cindy Brady.
I call it deer in headlights, but that's but your name is better.
Speaking of the Brady Bunch, somebody said the funniest thing about some clip of some drummer on Facebook. They put it up and the dude was just kind of just going for it. And somebody wrote like, all right, you don't have to go all Bobby Brady on those drums, young man. Like, you remember when Bobby Brady got the drum kit and he was just going ape?
Yeah.
Just making a bunch of racket in the garage.
Is that when Peter's voice was changing and
probably the same season.
Time to change. Is it time for change? This is just goddamn embarrassing.
Yeah. Embarrassing. Lord.
If you were going to introduce someone to Soul Asylum for the first time, which record would you suggest to start with? If you were going to introduce, so not actually introduce them to us in the band personally, but the music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I would probably say just listen to Grave Dancers Union. That's the one everybody seemed to like. And if you like that, then you're good. You can listen to all of it. If you say, oh, I don't like that, But the other obvious answer is the newest record,
Yeah, my newest work. It's the strongest thing ever. Go out and buy that.
There you go.
I mean, it really does seem like the most recent record is really a great representation of not just Soul Asylum and not just Dave's writing, but also the collaboration between Michael as a music director, a band leader, of whatever title you want to give him, and Dave as a writer. It seems like like that's well represented with this record.
Well, I know how to. Prepare for the chaos.
That's true.
That's coming.
It's unbelievable because I come from a different musical background in a punk rock sense that I didn't even know what a musical director was. And I think actually Michael introduced me to that term.
I think I said it and you went, what's that? Exactly.
Yeah. So
it means his check's a little bigger.
Yeah, it means you're the guy who makes sure that you're the guy who makes sure everybody else knows what they're doing before the money walks in the room.
What female artist do you guys listen to? Have only heard male musicians mentioned on this show? All right, that's a really good question, Susie. I'll start.
Dave, can you get your head back in the lens?
Oh, right over here. I get confused with it goes the opposite way.
Now that I'm in the center.
Michael's almost always where you are, and the only reason he's off to one side is because of we had the tech. Actually, we can hold on a second. I think I can do this.
Fiddle. There we go.
There we go.
Now everybody's where they're supposed to be.
Yes.
Why is that? Oh, the guest is sandwiched.
The guest is normally in the middle.
I'm in the hot seat now.
Yeah.
Well, I better not screw this up.
That's right. Go finish your answer. Dave.
I love Aretha Franklin. I love Bjork. I love Liz Phair.
Yeah, hold on. We mentioned Peaches earlier, so she was wrong.
That's true.
Aha. All right.
It was a great question, though.
Yeah, it's a good question. Jeremy was like, no, I think I heard a Peaches reference earlier. Yep.
Michael will get me for this, but I love Erykah Badu. She's one of my favorites. When you talked about
that, it just ain't my thing, man.
Have you listened to her Tiny Desk yet?
Is she wearing a kente cloth?
I can't remember what she's wearing. She's got really crazy makeup and hair, like really bold.
Listen, you know what? She's doing the most to me now, man. I don't like her.
Go listen to her Tiny Desk. I promise. I don't steer you wrong very often, Michael. Her Tiny Desk is amazing.
I'm sure it's everything it's supposed to be. I'm certain. I got nothing against. Yeah, I guess I have nothing against her music. I'm just holding a grudge against her.
Yeah, that's
to be honest.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Dave. You're the guest.
Well, I think that's a big. I don't know what the word is. It's confusing for me to like when I bring up Lauryn Hill, Winston, bass player, has nothing good to say about her, and it's because of the way that she treats musicians. So when I hear that, it sort of jades the way I listen to her music, and then you're right into the whole, problem of is their personal life going to affect the way that you listen to their music, and that's where it gets weird for me. I don't know. I mean, I watched Erykah Badu play at Preservation Hall, and she kept the band waiting for at least 2 hours, and they're like 80-year-old guys that are legendary jazz players, and she's doing her makeup or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I got you. And that's a really big question, because where do you separate the artistry from the person? Like some people can forgive. Well, they're human. They're gonna make mistakes. You don't expect them to be divine.
Whatever you say. O.J. Simpson was still a good football player. So
right.
I mean, this is. Go ahead.
Well,
this is a really good opportunity to ask somebody who's actually in the spotlight and an artist in the spotlight. I mean, Dave, how do you personally feel about when should your personal life and whoever you are as a person be separate from your art, and when are they, when are they supposed to be together?
I guess I think that, you know, your best suit could be Mystique, which was a great thing back in the day. Like, you didn't know what the band looked like. You didn't know what they did in their spare time. You didn't have any of that stuff.
Yeah.
The manager once said to me, you know, when Johnny Carson walks out on stage, you don't want to know what's behind the curtain, because that's, now it's like, oh, let's follow the band around with a camera. What's in the cup? That's what somebody said about me and Ryan's live stream. I got a green plastic cup, and I'm like, this is none of your goddamn business. Listen to the music.
Yeah. People are. I mean, we're just living in an age of thirst. Everybody wants to know everything, and I don't think that you should. Just because you got a slip on doesn't mean you're supposed to show it. You know what I mean? It's just like the mystique of the music business is all but gone.
I mean, I'll bring it up. I have a friend. A very close friend, and when the Michael Jackson thing kind of exploded, he was very distraught by it because he had kids that were that age, and he's like, I don't know what to do about that. How am I supposed to feel? I mean, this guy is and he was just kind of creeped out by the whole thing, and I understand that. I also understand that some people who grow up with certain music, it's still the music. It's what you know and love. So you may make a distinction between what this person does in their personal life and how much you think it affects what they're singing about or whatever. I mean, I remember finding out Elton John was gay, and I was kind of like, oh, that had never occurred to me, after listening to 5 Elton John records, it never crossed my mind. And then he came out in public and he was a little bit shunned for it, which I felt kind of sad about, I was just like, well, what, so, I guess it's different in every situation, but.
Yeah, but I was going to say, Dan, somebody just brought up Ara Kelly.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think we can pretty much all agree that the line is somewhere on R. Kelly is somewhere on the other side of the line. We can
excuse everybody else. What are you going to say here, Dan?
I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking it through in my head because on the one hand, I don't listen to R. Kelly anymore. On the other hand, I still play my Phil Spector Christmas album.
Wait a minute. You telling me you went all the way off? Like you boycotted R?
I was never somebody that really listened to him, like had him on repeat in the first place. But I definitely took I took him out of my playlist at a certain point. I don't want to be giving somebody money when they're still, I don't know.
Sense.
I mean, I'm really torn about it. To be honest.
All right, yeah, I figured out. Yeah, okay, you putting us on the hot plate. I'm going through the examples in my head because I still listen to Michael Jackson. I still play my Phil Spector Christmas album. I've taken R. Kelly out of the playlist. I mean, you don't do Ara like that, but you gonna listen to MJ?
I feel like it's less clear cut with Michael Jackson. I still don't know how to take the whole thing.
All right. I'm partly just being devil's advocate. I understand.
I know. I mean, with R. Kelly, we know for a fact what he did, and he was convicted, wasn't he?
But didn't he get out on bond or something? He went right back to that McDonald's he was stalking.
Yeah, exactly. Went back to the middle school. Like there's no ambiguity there. I feel like once we get to a point, once we get crime. I mean, if you're unapologetically still doing the thing,
what you got over there? You eating a Big Mac, girl? All right then.
And
Kels can take care of that for you.
I feel like that there's no ambiguity in his situation. I feel like there's more ambiguity in in Michael Jackson's situation. And the reason I brought up the Phil Spector record is because there's no ambiguity there either. He went, but I also, and again, I'm torn about the whole thing. I don't like the hierarchy of evil, but at the same time, I think when you have kids involved, that's a whole different thing. Again,
with MJ and R. Kelly, you talking about the same thing.
Yeah, but again, there's more ambiguity in the MJ situation than there is in the R. Kelly situation.
Your heart don't want to believe it.
It doesn't, and I don't. With R. Kelly, like initially, I didn't want to believe it, and then he made a song about it, and then he made a video about it, and then he,
right. Yes, I mean, but so do you appreciate his honesty, the honesty of his work, or do you? I'm just kind of going for it.
I don't think the video, which when I say the video, I refer to the infamous video that got passed around the internet. I don't think that was necessarily work that he intended to publish and be proud of.
I gotta say, you know what? I feel like because I worked with a controversial artist, I'll listen to whatever I feel like listening to. You know how many times I had to defend Prince's honor and know for a fact that I was I was in league with evil some days, So I'll listen to R. Kelly all day if I want to. I've had to compartmentalize in my actual life about it. And if everybody, you can't stop men from doing evil, But I gotta say, for me personally, I don't think that R. Kelly. I don't think as an artist he was as big as MJ, but MJ had a lot of help, But I do think that I see you, Audrey, but we'll have to talk about that in private.
Yeah, there's some great questions coming up in the comments, but there's no way we're going to get to these all.
The nerve that we didn't intend to strike. We could divert and get out of this right now and go to something else, but because I don't think we're going to agree.
It does make me uncomfortable.
I mean, the list of artists who
I think it was fairly obvious that Harvey Weinstein needed to be punished. For lack of a better expression.
I think I think anybody up to no good should meet their punishment. But it's the judicial system is, as we learned from Sade Smith last week.
Oh, she was a beast.
It shouldn't make a difference why does it make a difference who's sitting in the seat of the judge if the law is really supposed to work like it's, like they say. It shouldn't matter who's sitting in that seat. But people are always currying favor, and I presume there's corruption being a judge just like in anything else.
Well, you guys heard about what happened with the judge who's serving on one of the Jeffrey Epstein cases.
Right.
God. That's creepy.
Yeah.
I watched the Netflix thing about him, and I can't unsee it. It just gave me the heebie-jeebies. It's just gross.
Yeah. I haven't seen the Netflix thing for that reason.
He doesn't even make music, and we're talking about him. No one would even know who that dude was.
But you want to talk about corruption in the judicial system, and why do you think they killed the judge's son? And I think they shot at her husband too, right?
That's a crazy story. Do we have any breaking why or who it was?
It was somebody that worked on the Trump campaign. And that's as far as we know, all we know about him. But he was confirmed to be a Trump campaign staffer.
I did not know that.
So, it's I can only imagine what that's like to be a judge over an important case and have your family threatened, and then if you don't you don't give them what they want, then they actually kill your family. I mean, we don't know necessarily that's what happened, but that's circumstantially what it looks like, at least.
People with resources are always going to try to obtain leverage. That's just a fact of life. That's all it is.
Come on, who knocks on a front door with a FedEx outfit on and shoots the kid? What the hell is that? That can't be who he was gunning for. Is it? I mean,
I feel like if you're trying to send a threat to the judge and get the judge to recuse herself, then that might be the way you do it. You get to the family.
Hold on a second. Can we address this, because it's going to continue to draw my attention? If you throw up this question by David Scott Hampton, and I'm curious to know if that's the Dave Hampton that I know, or if this no, that looks like somebody else. But that's a fair question.
So you want me to read it?
Yeah.
So is it because of the healing these artists can create in their fans in their fans that help to broaden your allowance of evil? I mean, you're using the word evil.
What I said is that men will commit evil. It will happen. Being a musician don't make you no kind of saint.
I think it's common decency, though, where you're just like, come on, man. You gotta go fuck kids. What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
I get that. But I understand. Yes, of course. I don't think my moral compass is what I'm really trying to. I don't even think I'm in defense of anything. I'm just saying music is music. And almost in the music business, for me, the more effective an artist is, the more eccentric they are.
Yeah.
They almost always go hand in hand. And I guess if I was going to be 100% honest and not just here yanking the chain and trying to stir up controversy for profit, which we're not being paid anything to do this,
That's true.
That I myself vacillate. It's like it's an issue for me. It was an issue for me even when I was working for Prince. Like some of those songs, man, like you don't know what it's like to be on stage at Wembley Arena, and you looking across the front row and you see girls with 13, 14, some kids even younger than that with their parents in the front row of the Prince concert, and we we kick into P control, and I'm looking at the audience. I'm thinking to myself, okay, what am I doing here exactly? Like that really kind of, I had this, this is nonfiction. We were at Wembley Arena in 1995. Eccentric or just nasty, somebody said. I don't know if I want to speak on that.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, that really was a point in my life where I went, this is not what I was given this gift to do exactly. I realized that my time spent with Prince was of my own free will. I walked into a situation. What many people don't know is that I basically was going to LA after the new tour. I was planning to go to LA and audition for Stevie Wonder's band. That was I was like, okay, I see what this gig is about. I've proven that I can hang, but I don't know if I want this for my life. And I let the convenience of it being here in this town and being keeping company with the upper crust, meeting famous people, all the awards and accolades that come with, working with somebody that iconic, But I also had people walking up to me all the time saying, I heard you used to play in church. Yeah, I did. Well, you're a Christian, right? Yes. Well, aren't your sensibilities offended?
It's funny that you brought it to church because in answering David's question, I was going to use the example of David in the Bible, who is considered to be the greatest songwriter of the Bible, wrote many of the Psalms and was a murderer and was an adulterer and had.
He was a songwriter?
What'd you say? David in the Bible?
He wrote songs?
I mean, the book, a lot of the Psalms, a lot of the book of Psalms.
Oh, Psalms, he said. I'm sorry, I thought you said songs.
Well, I mean,
my bad.
Biblically speaking, those are songs. I mean, we've set them to music differently.
My mother says I was named after that dude. Anyways, go ahead.
That's a very, I mean, that makes sense because you also have the songwriting gift. That makes sense that you would have that.
Maybe I should start writing psalms.
Then they don't have to rhyme, I guess. I'm not really sure.
That's a really good point.
What is the point you're trying to make? Because
So I mean, you want to talk about somebody who did some horrible stuff and is still revered for his contributions to Christianity, even musically. Because again, there's so much of the lyrics of gospel music and liturgical music and Christian music comes from the Psalms that David wrote. You know, he's considered to be the origins of worship. And again, he specifically had people killed so he could fuck their wives. You know,
Is that in the Bible?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
he's forgiven somehow.
well,
I think that the last question was interesting in a way that it was kind of like, do your fans help to change the public perception of you if they take the evil thing as like, yeah, whatever,
be anointed and do evil. We're not deities.
Okay, I'm not a big fan of this word, but this is what I think is kind of interesting. Google, apparently their tagline for their business was "Don't do evil," and then they dropped it, which gets like, you got to decide now that you're going to do evil.
I don't even know what we're exactly talking about at this point, because on the sideline, I'm sure I'm bumming a lot of Prince fans out.
I always think
the thing I said was that I exercised my free will. I was there for it. And I don't have any regrets. But I knew when it was time for me to go, and he as much did me a favor firing me in March of '96, along with the rest of us. I didn't have the ability to continue to be objective about it. It became a subjective study for me.
I have a question. Did you have to sign a NDA for DPS, for the new power generation? Do you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement?
Probably, but I mean, I'm not really. It had nothing to do with any of that.
Right, but maybe you just knew too much, man.
Maybe I just what?
Knew too much.
Well, you could be right.
I don't know.
I might have known too much, but the longer I go on, I get people telling me all sorts of stories about things that went on at Paisley Park that I had no idea were going on. So
that's hearsay.
The only thing that seems odd to me is I know you always use P Control as your example, and I always saw that as a women's empowerment anthem. Like it seems like it's celebrating.
You can't even say pussy.
Well, the name of the song is P Control. I can say Pussy Control.
Oh, okay. It's a cat, right? Isn't he talking about a cat?
Yeah,
clearly.
Yeah, okay, Dan. Again, there's many things that we share in common, and I guess this is one thing that we don't. And also he's right. I was too close to it.
You were there. I wasn't.
I knew too much about it. And not only that, my blood is in that song. Prince took a sample of me and Sonny and predicated that entire track around it.
Wow.
As well as Now, Republic with a Zipper. There's many.
That's a pretty good story.
Yeah, I'm
really?
just
Pussy Control. Really, that's what you're going to call that jam?
Yeah,
okay.
I walked in. I was like, "Oh, okay, all right."
I love it. That's funny.
Yeah, it's I don't take it like that, and that's my opinion. And everybody's got theirs, and that's fine. For me, I think that more often than not, we were writing the line of I think misogyny is too strong a word. But you know, double entendres can get weird. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna play around with definitions of things and how you put words together, I remember him trying to tell somebody who was like, that Get Off song is nasty. 23 positions in a one night stand, and he said he's like, yeah, but after that, I'll call you after if you say I can. Like he always tried to mix these metaphors and balance them out. But I mean, like a true Gemini. But you don't know who's driving the ship. You don't know which one is in control from day to day. I know that from the experience of being there day to day. Different guy walks in every day to rehearsal and whatnot. So I'm saying I get playing around with these things, but to me, I'm also looking at the fruit of your efforts. Like what's happening right now? What's born from chaos? What's born from peace? You know, what are you using your energy to do in the universe? What's your agenda? I got a lot of questions that I never asked Prince because it was none of my business.
That's fair enough. I don't feel like you guys are disagreeing. I don't know why.
Maybe I just know he's a fan, and I didn't start out that way. You know, and I guess I keep using P control because I remember that when we played it on television, I didn't tell my mom because I didn't want her to see me on TV playing the devil's music.
Oh God!
You want to see your mom? You want to have your mom watching you do that? I didn't, so I didn't tell her, but she saw it anyway. And she said, "Oh, I saw you on television." I said, "Mama, I didn't want to tell you about that because I didn't want you to, to see that." And she was like, "Oh, I just wanted to see you on television." I know he's a vulgar man.
It's just
only your mom would say that.
like one of the questions said in the thing, like I have a daughter. My daughter's 14 now, so almost the exact same age that you were talking about. I would have never thought twice about her listening to that song if you hadn't said something, because that's just not one of the ones. I know Prince has some stuff that and again, it's every parent is different, every kid is different. I don't feel like my kid, I have to censor what she listens to because she's not impressionable to that kind of stuff. But if I had the kind of kid that was, there are certain things I would prefer them not to listen to. And there are some Prince songs I would prefer her not to listen to. But I never would have thought of that particular song just because so I think I told you that album was one of the first albums that I got as a kid. And
I think it's a great record. I think the Gold Experience is one of the best things we did.
And
with our time together.
I remember listening to it as a teenager and being like, first thrown off, like, oh no, I should not listen to something with that word. And then I listened to the story, and I'm like, oh no, this is all about empowering the girl, and he's using the metaphor. And so just when you use that as it always threw me off that you use that as an example, not so much your experience. I can't. You were there. It's your experience. I can't take that away from you, and I can't, like, if you're telling me that, I know that's the case. It's just using that song as the example is what always got me.
Because that happened to be the one that I got caught on TV playing. That was explicit in its language, and I guess you could say the same thing about Get Off. That's
Get Off's a little more.
And
the assless pants. And
then you look at that video. It was like we walked in. It was like, is this a set? Are we remaking Caligula?
I love that performance. But that set is dirty. You need a shower after that set.
Yeah. All right.
I don't have a problem.
Getting all hot and bothered. See,
here's something I would like to put forward. I think that Al Gore, his wife Tipper, lost him a lot of votes because I think that no matter what it is, you can't take people's right to say whatever they want away from them. I mean, it's just not good. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not offended by dirty talking singers. Whatever. If my kids started listening to white supremacist punk rock, I'd have a problem with it,
Great example.
Here's the thing you guys are missing, though. What I said was I was uncomfortable continuing to sow my energy in that direction. So much less about who's offended and who's not. I'm talking about me in my feelings about it, in my head about it at that moment. I don't believe that it's an accident that I'm a musician, and I believe that, and I'm not, and I don't think that Prince would disagree either. That being a musician is a calling of the highest order. I mean, I hate to take it there, but if you know the Bible, then you know that Satan was God's favorite angel.
Yep.
He's a musician. And I mean, I'll leave that there. But what I'm saying is this, is that there's all sorts of situations that are cool for everybody else. But I know who I am. And what's not okay for me is what is not okay for me. And ultimately, the world can go its own way. And that's what has happened. Is the world can do and enjoy whatever it wants to. But what I'm going to use my energy for is going to be solely my decision. That's not even an argument here. You know, that's what I was talking about. I'm not talking about whether or not they should have brought their kids to the concert and whatnot. You parents, you make up your own mind. You know, that's perfectly fine. I'm saying the way in which I am going to contribute in this world is going to be is my choice. And it gotten too thick for me, man. He one day he showed us a song and the hook was like, "If you got good pussy, say hell yeah." I was like, "Ooh, where's it's time to clock out." I'm not with it. I'm not.
I like bad pussy.
You like what now?
Bad pussy, not good pussy. It's terrible. I mean, I just saw a little question that came up like, do you censor? Right? I mean, do you censor what your kids listen to? I mean, and I think that when my kid was coming around to being able to listen to music and decipher language, I specifically remember a Lil' Kim record that a friend bought, and she wanted I think it goes like this. She wanted him to hear it, so she went to Walmart and bought the clean version. And I just thought it was terrible. I'm like, I need to have it's like me and Michael disagree. He likes it when they substitute other words for swear words and censoring because he thinks it's funny.
I think it's hilarious.
I think it's less funny.
Okay.
Anyways, I pretty much resigned that my kid could listen to whatever he wanted to. I didn't care, unless it's white supremacist punk rock, of course, or anything that is just that crass that I'm like, what the fuck are you listening to that for? I never had that problem.
I'm not trying to choose for anybody else. I was just choosing for me.
Yeah, if I would impose that sort of thing on my child, I would have to think, oh, he's never going to hear a song that I wrote that has fuck in it. So it'd be kind of hypocritical, I suppose. This freedom of speech is a big deal.
I agree. Say what you want to say. I at some point I might do this.
So
okay, I'm not.
We got David Scott Hampton is back.
But I do have a question more about Soul Asylum, thinking about Prince and some of these other artists who are vulgar. I love that so little of your music is vulgar or rude, but is there a big message, personal or political, that you want to say that you might not give voice to in your music because it's too vulgar or rude for your music? I mean,
But Soul Asylum music?
Yeah, I mean, I think that
I don't shy away from anything. I talk about whatever I want.
Yeah, but you also talk about what you consider to be vulgar, like how people treat people.
That is also correct.
Like that's vulgar. That offends your sensibilities when people, are just not cool.
Yeah, that's true.
So that I think, and that's well documented in your catalog, I'd say.
I hear a song that I'm like, oh, come on. You're not really singing that. And maybe it's just because I don't think it's like very good or anything, but
yeah,
really, that's what you're gonna sing about? Whatever. You don't have to listen to it,
Can I ask you about New World, Dave?
Sure.
What is that song about? I've always wanted to ask, but I never really did.
I suppose that it is talking about how you envision the world to be like, and then finding out that it ain't what you thought it was, and then possibly thinking that maybe it could be like that, and you got to get off your ass and do something about it. And so it's kind of this thing about disappointment growing up where you want, I mean, for me, I was raised in Catholic schools, and I wanted, it sounds stupid, but peace, love, and understanding and things like that were things I held very, very high. Mm-hmm. So it was always kind of stunning to me when people were such jerks, for a lack of a better expression. So in that effect, yes, mm-hmm. it is. And it does it kind of goes into how people got here and why they're here and what they do with their time when they're here. And so I think it's sort of about making this, connection to how you felt before you were, jaded by the reality of, now you're older and you're like, wow, it's not like that at all. And it's very disappointing. So then I suppose, I guess it's my job to try to debunk all the bullshit, That's all I got.
Okay. I'm trying to think about, we've gone 15 minutes longer than we normally would go. But my adrenaline's so far up now because we went to a place that I wasn't intending to go.
I thought that's what people wanted to talk to you guys about.
I'll tell you what I want to talk about is who I need you to knock out whoever was against me originally recording The Silver Lining with you guys.
What?
I heard, well, maybe it's not true, but the impression I got was that somebody in the organization said, he's kind of an R&B drummer. I don't think it'll work. Nobody said that?
No, that's not true. Which is the kind of the hearsay thing,
All right.
Michael will bring a couple rumors into the practice space. And I'm like, I don't care. Because, you hear things and you hear stuff and you wonder if it's true or not. And
Yeah, I laid off after the whole, we had some sort of a conversation on a, actually, I'll just skip it. Riled up Michael for the win. Yeah. I got hot because they started coming for me.
I was trying not to draw your attention to the time because it was such a good discussion, but I know we have limitations.
What you disappointed all these Soul Asylum fans who came on to listen to Dave talk about Soul Asylum. And
we did that for the first hour.
Huh?
We spent the first hour on Soul Asylum, and then we segued to different stuff.
You just go over to the Moving Backwards Through Time page tomorrow, and you'll see it.
I personally cannot wait to get in a room with this guy. Hey, before we leave, could you do an experiment with me, Dan?
Sure.
Okay, so if I do this, and then you just take your own hand, and then okay, so wait, 1, 2, wait, other hand. Put
your other hand.
Like I'm gonna poke you. Ready?
Okay.
Put your hand, put it out of the picture, and then when it crosses over to your side, then you put like this is your hand. Okay.
I'm not doing a very good job of it. Sorry.
That's what I'm doing.
I'm trying, but I'm not coordinated.
1, 2, 3, go. All right. That looked pretty good.
I'm not very good at it. I'm sorry. I'll practice. I'm sure we'll have you on again, and I'll practice.
We got to cover two things, man. First off, people keep asking about the Bob Ross shirt.
Oh, shit. I love Bob Ross.
I thought it was Neil deGrasse until I saw more of the face. I'm like, I see an afro. Oh yeah, I got you. Okay, so
Jeneen. She's giving me the Chappelle wrap it up button right now.
I got it. We're on the last
We know.
couple
We know. We all got it too.
Yeah,
We know.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good job.
Yeah, she got things.
It's right here.
I got
Wow.
you. So that was that. Somebody asked about the Bob Ross shirt, and somebody also asked about Stand Up and Be Strong. But they were asking me basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know about it. I played on it, bruh. The day that Prince wanted to record that song, he asked me to call Dave and get his permission because he didn't want to have any issues later on about it. So we recorded it that day. Dave approved the project, and we recorded it. I don't know if Prince finished it or not. So,
but I gave Prince my blessing, which seems like
to cover Stand Up and Be Strong. I walked in the studio that day, and he said, "How come that song wasn't a hit? That song is incredible. What happened?" I said, "We're on a little subsidiary label. They don't have the funding to get in and push." He's like, "That's too bad. That song is a massive hit." And then later on in that same session, he's like, "Could we record that?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, will you ask Dave? Because I don't want to, So I think that's pretty much.
Really want to hear it, man.
What's that?
I want to hear it.
Yeah, me too.
I want to hear it.
We'll
I want to hear
it. Dave, I'm going to see you in live and in living color in 2 days.
That's what I'm talking about.
Excited to get
drummer. I haven't done it since the beginning since our tour got canceled, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Right. Spiffy, do you have anything to say before we wrap this up?
Things really started to get good when we got the Wrap It Up music. So I know we'll have Dave back. I mean, there's no question about that. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I have some more things I'd love to ask him and talk to him about. As far as we got some great stuff coming up too. So next week we have a doctor who's also a professor and a school principal to talk about reopening schools and, in the wake of the pandemic. Then August 4th is my birthday. And so Michael and I are just going to hang out and talk shit for my birthday. And we're going to invite any of our past guests that want to come back and, stop by for a few minutes and hang out are welcome, including Dave, of course. Then is Gabriel locked in for the 11th, or is that?
I want him for the 11th. It's yet to, I still have to talk to his friend about the questions that we need to formulate for the tribal elder of the Mashpee tribe.
So we have that at some point in August. We have that as well as the environmental tribute to my dad. So August is going to have some amazing stuff. I've met Dave before, but we didn't get to, we spoke for a minute or two. So it's really great for me to have this opportunity to hang out with Dave, and because I know you love him like a brother, and any brother of Michael Bland is a brother of mine. So I'm really glad that I got to hang out with Dave for a little bit.
Likewise, man. I'm glad I got to figure out what was going on because
we did
pretty good, right? We did all right.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll get the chance to see you guys play music together again soon.
Well, we're aiming. I don't want to spit out a specific date, but we're trying to get a stream concert going sometime in later in August.
When that screen.
Anyway,
hey Michael, if any of the songs need Hammond organ, I know a guy.
Yeah. Okay. You'll get your shot. All right.
Anything else you want to add, Dave?
No, I just want to say thank you. This has been a real pleasure, and I enjoy talking about these things, whatever they are, music, whatever, politics, and the way people get along. I think you guys are doing a great thing. So thank you for having me.
Oh, God bless you, Pern.
All right.
All right. Be good. I'll see you in a couple days. All right.
Hopefully we'll never find out if Bob Ross was some sort of a weird pervert.
Well, that's how we're going to end the show. Clearly, that's where we're ending.
On that note, good night to everybody.